The other thing around this is that the notion of work is changing. We've heard much in the media about people losing jobs. We've seen Atlassian lose 15,000 jobs. We've heard about AI turning our brain to porridge. We've heard about all of the dystopian things that are going to happen when robots, machines start to work with us. We've heard all of the terrible, heinous things that artificial intelligence is going to do to our mind, body and soul. I'm here to tell you that none of that's true. Not a word of it. As human beings, we were put on this planet on day one by whomever, however. And since then, we have been trying to get other people to do our work. Or maybe it's just me who's terribly lazy. We looked at the fulcrum. We saw a rock back when we were in the cave being chased by dinosaurs. And we found a stick. And we put another rock under that stick and we kind of wedged that rock up. We turned that later into tractors. We turned that later into not having to dig the grave, but having a mini tractor that would do that for us. Today we can have an autonomous tractor if we want to dig that grave, go exactly to the plot, find it, dig it to the right depth, and tell us exactly what we want. We can have a database that automatically mines our past clients, looks out for signals of client needs, and comes in contact with them at the right time. Machines are things that do routine. They do over and over and over again really well. Why should we as humans? Artificial intelligence, something I'm suggesting many of us feel uncomfortable with, is the rise of not only just physical outsourcing, but also human thought outsourcing. We are now beginning to use devices that do some of our thinking for us. It needs railguards. It shouldn't be allowed to just go into the ether and do what it wants, but nor will it, because none of our technology in the past have really done that, even though we said they would. If you go back into the newspapers of the 1900s, you will see literally in the New York Times, in the Sydney newspapers, from the pulpit, priests were saying, do not install gas or electricity into your home. God will smite you. They are the devil's work. Today, we look at electricity, we look at gas, and we say, well, of course they're part of our world. God hasn't smitten us. They are part of what we do. And without them, we wouldn't be able to sit in this room, by the way, because we'd all be sitting in the dark, and I would be doing something about fingers or shadows up behind you. The reality is that what you and I must remember is that at our core, at your core, your business is human. I know you will never forget that. I know you know that in every fibre of your being. Yours is a human-to-human connection. I am not suggesting we lose that, but what I am suggesting to you is that in order to make your work more efficient, in order to give you the advantage that you need to carry on working, to do some of the things that I've spoken about, the befores and the afters, is to supplement the things that only humans can do, that soul-to-soul connection. To supplement that, we can use great tools that are on our horizon, both internally to make our businesses work in different ways, but also externally to help us connect with communities and communities to us. The reality is that work will evolve for me in my model. I call this HUMAND. H-U-M-A-D, M-A-N-D, human and. Because I believe that what we're moving into is a world of tasks, not work. Tasks. Single things we need to do. The family comes in, we need to greet them. We need to take them in, they need to choose coffins. Each one of those is a task. And if we break down work into tasks and begin to question how that task is best done, whether it's best done by a human, better done by a piece of machinery like an Excel spreadsheet, or is it best done by AI, we can begin to supplement the work we have always done physically with these tools at our hand. Human work. Again, I'm imploring you, and I know that I don't have to, because this I know is where your heart sits. Human work, work that will never go into either of those spheres, I believe, is family guidance, it's ritual and ceremony, it's storytelling, it's grief support, it's community connection. Those things are things that will remain with you. But there is work beyond that. There is machine work that can be done. Things that don't require you physically or mentally to be there 24/7. Live streaming, again, 20 years ago, you all told me almost to a person that that was not part of tomorrow's landscape. And now I'd suggest many of you cannot see a world where that is at least not an offer that you make to the family and the group. I'm suggesting to you here, likewise, that there are things that machine can do. We talked before, many years ago, about how live streaming would work. And now for many of you, it's a camera that you have placed quite discreetly in your chapel. Maybe a number of cameras that automatically work together and live stream out for you. When you do recordings, again, you've figured out a way to make that work so that it works harmoniously with the work that you do. Live streaming, memorial media, cremation systems, service logistics, the mechanics of that can be given to a machine. Again, in the hands of people. I'm not talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger machines and robots. I'm talking about realizing that there is a group of entities out there that can take the burden away from you. And for you, I'd suggest, for everyone, I suggest, this is most probably the newest and most uncomfortable layer of all. It is the equivalent of social media, it is the equivalent of live streaming, the equivalent of moving away from a traditional burial to one of ceremony, the AI section. Again, I'll put up a QR code at the end of this presentation. You'll be able to come back and review all of these slides. I've already said to you that digital legacy, I believe, is a growth industry. In fact, I know it's going to turn into a multi-billion with B, billion industry. Because what we have is a world that has grown up inside of their phones. They record everything. Every meal, every conversation, every meeting, every piece of fauna and flora. I sent pictures of kangaroos today to my grandchild. I mean, these are things that we do routinely now. In this artificial intelligence world, digital legacy will be something not only that is requested, but I believe demanded. How do I keep the memory of this person going beyond the event that traditionally is in the middle of what we do? There is also grief companion, because you know better than I that grief is not a momentary thing. Grief is a long-time activity. It comes for people in the strangest of places at the strangest of times. But using artificial intelligence as well as your human skills, I'm talking about in the moments where it's not possible for you to be there or for them to make contact or feel comfortable doing that. That you can provide through the skill sets of yourself or your augmented community, because I know already there are great suppliers in this room that provide you with the knowledge and wisdom to share around grief counselling. This reality of artificial intelligence playing into this space, where I can pull up in that moment of uncertainty, when I'm not sure about the next step because all of a sudden something has hit me and I'm remembering that loved one. How do I move forward, literally? I want that to be connected back to you, not the grief part, but the loving part, the moving forward part, where they can, as strange as it sounds, pull out something from their device or their digital library and talk perhaps with an AI that speaks back to them. Perhaps they talk to their grandpa or their grandma if that's what they need. Perhaps they talk to one of you, or perhaps they talk to a counsellor. But all these things can be done through these spaces. What I'm asking for really is that you see that the work that needs to be done, not as a burden for your 2 hands and your 2 feet or your staff, but rather as looking at which tasks can be done by you, the people that you employ, which can be done by looking at technology that you bring in that allows you to streamline what it is you do. And increasingly, how do you use artificial intelligence externally to connect with community, but also internally to connect with your paperwork, with your lodgements, with your activities, with your scheduling. If you have not played with artificial intelligence and AI agents or agentic, which are all very big, very strange, very scary words, but each of those is an extension. The latest of them is agentic, and the word comes from agent. Agent means somebody or something that does something for me. It will be possible in the not too distant future. In fact, I would suggest that many of you will have this over the next 5 years and plus. A system that allows the loved one and the family to come in and out of your physicality by doing digital conversation, by providing digital lodgement of documents, or perhaps talking to somebody in that space. This is how I think work will evolve both internally and externally to allow you to do the things that I believe the community wants of you without adding that extra layer of burden to you. We also know that the world of work has changed, that you don't necessarily have to have the staff internally to do all of it. It is possible now to hire contractors. It's possible to go online and to find somebody to design the brochure or to do a piece of work or to create something for you. That's somebody that comes for a reason, not a season. When you're looking at your staffing, I'm suggesting to you that you look across all of these. Of course, maintain your core staff. Goes without saying. I've said that you are the most human of human industries. I am not for a moment suggesting anything else. But where you need additional skills and perhaps don't need them ongoing, perhaps we look at other ways to bring physical people in, even if it is across the sea and digital landscape. Perhaps we do it through artificial intelligence by looking at how we create systems around us, or perhaps it's by using machines and technology to be able to provide the services, products, internally and externally, that you require.